make sure this is all, I'm all set up.
Welcome to Twinsburg High School. It is week 4 of Friday night football coverage on Focus Sports. It is Wadsworth in town to take on the Tigers. Pete Hansberger, Dominique Sanders, and the Focus Sports crew are with you. Dominique, a 3-0 Wadsworth team in town to take on a 2-1 Twinsburg team. It's going to be the first league game of the season. We know what Wadsworth brings to this table, especially tonight. Twinsburg is going to be a little short-handed. You never know, though, at home, it still could be a good one.
Yeah, you mentioned it, Pete. First league game, Cleveland Browns game of the week, and an exciting night of football. We have some great weather. And I'm excited to see just two teams compete tonight. We understand Wadsworth's a big-time opponent. Look, they're 7th ranked in the state, Division II, 28th in the state overall in Ohio, and they're led by that quarterback who's a freshman. On the other end, Twinsburg has some guys out tonight, unfortunately, but I'm excited to see sophomore Dylan Fantone step up tonight and lead the reins for the Tigers behind center.
Yeah, every time there's an injury, as disappointing as it is for that person as well as the team, it's an opportunity for somebody to step up. And like you said, Dylan Fantone, sophomore quarterback, likely getting the start, 6'2", 155 in the program. And his teammates are going to have to rally around him. The defense is going to have to step up. They're going to have to slow down that big-time rushing attack by Wadsworth. And on offense, you'll need to get some playmakers like Okuma and potentially Herndon involved. Yeah,
you're right. You nailed it. And I spoke a little bit with Coach Salters before the game yesterday, and the one thing he talked about is they're going to fight. They're going to inch, they're going to claw, and they're going to give their best effort. You expect that every night. The Tigers step on the football field. But look, the good thing about Dylan is he's always even-keeled. He's calm. He's poised, and those seniors that are holding that line down are going to really have to protect him, like you mentioned. For the Tigers to upset the Grizzlies tonight.
Twinsburg's just about to run out, but we are going to step aside in just a moment for the national anthem. You mentioned the freshman quarterback, though, for Wadsworth, and that's a pretty tall task to ask a guy, and that's going to be Bryson Hall, number 16. He's going to get the start for the Grizzlies. Did pretty well last week as they dismantled Medina, a team that had been giving Wadsworth fits for the last few years. 51-7 was the final score there. And, I'm sure it's helpful to have a veteran, talented team to be part of, but still, as a freshman, taking snaps, that's got to be kind of intimidating.
Yes, for sure, and you talked about just the success he's had so far. But I'll tell you what, the big thing, Eli Kaufman, that offensive lineman, 6'3", 275 pounds, 3-star recruit out of Marshall. He's a beast for the Grizzlies.
You see some of the Wadsworth players taking their helmets off. The Twinsburg Lancer Marching Band is ready to play the national anthem to get this home crowd fired up. We are going to take a moment and allow you to watch and listen to that.
At this time, would everyone please stand for the playing of our national anthem performed by the Twinsburg High School Marching Band. Presenting the Stars and Stripes this evening, Alan Samolik, United States Army.
And there it is from the Tiger Marching Band. Here is the visiting Wadsworth football team wearing the white tops with the red pants. I always like their helmets with the Grizzly scratch marks on the helmet. That's a good look, and you'll see Twinsburg coming out here in just a moment as well. We talked a little bit about just trying to slow down that Wadsworth offense. You know, Gavin Madigan's one of the top players as well in the area as a running back. It feels like he's been on the team forever, and he's still just a junior. Yeah, the Madigan name's a big name in Wadsworth, you know, on the football field and the hardwood. And, you know, he's been a guy that's been around for what, since his sophomore year, I believe. And he's definitely made a staple, and he's continued to carry the load for the Grizzlies this season. They always seem to have multiple running backs, too, that can hurt you. We've seen Calix Lamp, number 7. He's had multiple touchdowns this season. He seems like a kind of a security blanket that the young Hall can go to. You know, he took a screen last week, 80 yards against Medina, and so it's, you know, they might try to go with some of that short passing game early if you got an underclassman like that starting. On the Twinsburg side, you know, you have a first-time starter in Dylan Fantone, sophomore. I mean, if you're the coach and you're the coaching staff, what are you telling a kid like that before the game? You know, you don't want to give him too much, in my opinion. You know, you're probably going to have to, you know, limit some of the playbook for him. But I'm going to tell you what, you know, he's in his position for a reason. You know, coaches wouldn't put him out there if they're not confident in him. And like I mentioned earlier, he's going to be even killed. He's going to stay poised. And the one thing about Dylan is he's going to have that next play mentality. So whether it's, you know, a successful play, whether it's an unsuccessful play, he's going to be ready to put it behind him and move on to the next play, which is all you can ask for in someone in this situation. Well, we had the 23rd anniversary of September 11th earlier this season, and I'm guessing that's related to everybody on the team coming out with their own American flag out of the tunnel for Twinsburg. And we mentioned they're down a few of the key players, Joey Pollock being one, R.J. Ruffin being another. Ruffin had a touchdown last week in the win against Copley, so did Pollock. Another guy that had a touchdown was Lucas Kingsland, and I feel like they're going to need to rely on him. You know, as you see head coach Charles Salter, and I feel like Twinsburg needs to break off that 3 to 4 yards per gain and just move the chains a little bit, maybe shorten the game, keep the clock running as much as possible. Yes, you know, you expect hopefully a big game from Lucas. You know, I know that, you know, he's going to have to use his speed to try and get to the perimeter against this big front line. And, you know, not having RJ is huge. You know, he's had a great start of the season so far. He's a playmaker on both sides of the football, and he definitely is someone that's going to be missed tonight. Well, Ball Bueller is another guy to keep an eye on, that big tight end, 6'2", 210. He had some nice plays against Aurora in week 1. I could see trying to go with some quick pop passes, utilize the tight end, utilize Rob Herndon, who's got sure hands and he's got the speed to break away from a defense. And there's definitely some playmakers here for Twinsburg, and if you can get the ball in their hands, that would be the strategy, in my opinion. And I agree with you. I think, you know, the one thing I hear a lot all week is, you know, Dylan has a great arm. And you know, Rob out there, you know, being a playmaker, I expect to see him take some shots a few times tonight to try and get the ball in his possession. And Twinsburg does have some size up front. So we talked about that before week 1. You know, they've got some big boys, you know, 275 and up on the line. So they are capable of providing coverage and moving people on defense. Gavin Madigan, though, as good as he is as a running back, he had 2 interceptions last week as a linebacker. So you're going to see a lot of these. And I would guess, too, Kaufman, number 66, probably playing both ways if he's the Marshall recruit for Wadsworth. And they will actually kick off. They won the toss, deferred to get the ball in the second half. So Twinsburg will get a chance. And if Dylan Fantone was excited about his start, it's going to come early as he'll get the ball in his hands quickly. It is 7 o'clock. It is a beautiful night. Week 4 is officially underway, and right at the goal line for Twinsburg, getting out across the 20, and a decent return over to about the 24 by the Tigers, and that's where they'll start. Here's the lineup. Got Cunningham, Rathbone, Davis, Howersett, and Yeho on the front line. Some big boys up there. Kingsland will be the running back. Colt Kramer, Kyle Anello, J.D. Okuma, Rob Herndon. So a couple new names on the wide receiving core. Like you said, though, more chances to step up. For sure. So here comes the sophomore. listed at 6 foot 2 inches. Son of athletic director Brian Fantone, who we all know well, and if you're watching this, you probably do as well. He's going to be in the shotgun, and they'll ask him to throw it. Plenty of time, but has it batted down. Nice play there by Bryce Polzak. Defensive end, it helps when the DNs are 6'3".
Yeah, and I tell you what, at least a positive you can see the starters, that offensive line, hopefully they'll give him a little protection. He's able to look off his first read, look to the boundary, and defensive lineman made a great play.
He didn't seem to have happy feet either. He just stood in there confidently. Here we go again. This time he had some pressure, and it's knocked away. Was looking inside for Kyle Anello, a fellow sophomore. Good anticipation, though. I think if you're Coach Justin Todd for Wadsworth, you're going to be aggressive with the linebackers in the secondary early, because you probably know what we're predicting is that they're going to try to get him some quick, 3-step drop routes.
Oh, yeah, especially with Wadsworth probably not having much film on Dylan. They're going to probably try and apply as much pressure as they can.
So they'll do a draw on 3rd down, and he is driven into the turf. Bryce Polzak with 2 great plays, and that'll be a 3-and-out to start the game for Twinsburg.
It's like we had a little miscommunication with the snap there. I think the center snapped it maybe a little bit too early.
So Anello, the receiver, is going to go back to punt. Twinsburg goes backwards about a yard. And that's a low snap. Anello takes it off the ground. Nice job to handle it and get it off. And this is going to be no return. Great coverage. Kingsland was down there.
King all over the football field.
Overall, I like the strategy for Twinsburg. I think they tried to catch Wadsworth off balance, because you would think they'd hand the ball off a couple times to let Fantone get comfortable. And had he not gotten that 1st down pass batted down, might have had something going.
Yeah, and you saw Wadsworth was going to bring pressure. They didn't on that 1st down. They did on 2nd and 3rd, and I think that's in my opinion, the only way they're going to get consistent pressure on the Tigers tonight. So you can expect that as the game progresses.
So here's Bryson Hall, the quarterback, in shotgun. Start with him running, jet sweep to the left, and breaking through is going to be Calix Lamb.
That's the one thing.
Got a 1st down.
That's the one thing about the Grizzlies, man. They're going to misdirection you to death. They're going to RPO you to death, and that's the one thing they've been doing for years, and they've had so much success doing it.
And now they'll speed up the pace a little bit. Crossing the 50 with that run. This will be a pass out to the flat. Nice job coming up and making the tackle by Sean Jennings. Pickup is about 6. We've seen Wadsworth go through a lot of different iterations of offense in the last 15 years. There have been years when all they do is run, and then there have been years when, their quarterback wins Mr. Football and they spread it out 5 wide.
Yes, they've done a good job of just recycling playmakers year in and year out.
This is a play action rolling out, makes the easy pass into the flat. And nothing too special there, but Jacob Ernest takes it, and the big 225-pound running back gets a good gain.
As you mentioned, Pete, you see 220, 225, 215, 205. These guys have been in the weight room. You see their weekly morning 6 a.m. sessions on Twitter, and it's definitely been paying off for the Grizzlies.
Herndon and Kramer were there on the tackle, but Wadsworth's on the move. First quarter here at Twinsburg, and this will be another screen pass out to the right side, and another 1st down out of bounds.
Quick game, quick game, quick game. These guys, they're trying to get the ball there. Playmakers out early, getting them to the boundary and giving them some space.
Zach Wise that time. Every one of their running backs is 215 or above. Another pass, another quick game, and this time it's overthrown. Those are the kind of plays that an aggressive defense is going to have to take advantage of.
Yeah, and I think as you mentioned, as the game progresses, I think you're going to see Twinsburg come up. They're going to come up a little bit and bring that pressure, because I think on the outside they do have the advantage in the athleticism department on the perimeter. I think that is the way they're going to have to make adjustments here throughout the game. As you can see here, they're bringing that press coverage on the outside.
A lot of motion, too, on offense for Wadsworth. This will be a handoff right up the middle, and he is stacked up immediately at the line and falls forward for about a yard. That was Madigan. Great defensive play there.
And I like that call by Coach Whip, the defensive coordinator. I like the mano-a-mano on the outside, and you know, the defensive line did a great job of getting pressure in the backfield and was able to force a third down here.
Joseph Farrell was the one who flew into the backfield. This would be big for the Tigers. Empty backfield now. Madigan is in motion. The sprint out. Looking for a throwback across the field, and there's a man wide open. He's going to get into the end zone for a touchdown. Jacob Ernest.
I tell you what, Pete, man, that's just a great play call.
Yep.
And a great play. Twinsburg had everything covered on the strong side. They covered the bubble route. Quarterback threw the ball back and had just a great throw and make for a 6 for the Grizzlies.
It's easy, too, to get lost amongst the defenders when you're a big tight end just rumbling in the opposite direction of everybody else. And by the time people catch it, a lot of times you're across their face and it's hard to recover. So 6-0 first drive is a touchdown for Wadsworth. The extra point is up and good. That was Jack Dinwiddie. And we played a little less than 3 minutes. Wadsworth stopped Twinsburg on a 3-and-out to start the game and then methodically drove down the field. They did have the 1 3rd and long, which is where they scored the touchdown. So that's about as efficient as you can be.
That's the thing, you know, they just have so much firepower, whether it's Limp, whether it's Madigan, whether it's, as you saw there, who was that? Ernest. You know, they just have so many playmakers that can make plays for them, and they've shown it year in and year out.
So now Twinsburg is back to receive for drive number 2. And let's hope that Dylan Fantone got, you know, a little bit more coaching on the sideline, and after getting his feet wet in that first drive, he's going to come back and, you know, try to start exploiting some openings. We've got some clips we want to show too from Twinsburg soccer. We want to talk a little bit about our classic game of the month that's happening on our channel here, and some other announcements we want to make throughout the night. I also want to shout out Wadsworth, their local TV channels. They're streaming the game tonight. We always like collaborating with them. Do the same with the Hudson TV people as well. And this is a nice boom into the end zone. There's J.D. Okuma on the screen. He's a guy we'd love to see get out in space.
He's a guy definitely you need to expect to make a few plays tonight, and I'm sure Grizzlies are going to key on him. He's had a few great games this season, and he's definitely a playmaker on the outside for the Tigers.
I'd like to see 71 William Cunningham get out and pancake somebody as well.
Let's put him on a wrap.
Yep.
And get him moving up the field.
Wadsworth looks like they play a 3-4 or some kind of 3-3-5 defense, trying to confuse some offensive team members. They only have 3 down linemen.
And I've seen a few times they've done some shifts, some lateral shifts. I think they, like you mentioned, they're trying to get the edge as they slash down when that ball snapped.
First down will be on the 20, and this will be a handoff to Keensland, and he poked his head through the hole and ended up picking up about 2.5. But that's the kind of gain I feel like you need to get. You need to get a couple of those in a row for Twinsburg. Then, you know, rattle off 4, 5, or 6, get the first down, and keep the chains moving.
Yeah, I think the key for the Tigers offensively has to, you know, win the battle on those early downs. You know, you want to give Dylan as much space as he can offensively in these short down situations.
2nd and 7. They'll run it again. This time he cuts back and picks up a couple more.
It's like you can see here now, well, you got looks like a 3rd and 5, which is definitely a manageable 3rd down for the young guy behind center.
Early in the game like this, down 7-0, this is one of those 3rd downs that you've got to find a way to get. You know, if you've got a play in your playbook, that's a simple crossing route, something that's easy enough to do, you've got to call it. And they almost got him offside right there.
Oh, you see the blitz coming. Look, they're in cover 0 man. You know, so I think you got to go to some sort of quick action here.
They're bringing the blitz. Has time, throws it. That's Rob Herndon. And I think he's going to be 1.5 yards short.
Short. Great read, though. He got the ball out of his hands and was able to get the ball to Rob. Unfortunately, they are a little bit short.
I can't tell if that was meant to be a screen pass or if the timing was a little off and he was supposed to get behind the sticks. And there was a tackle in the secondary. And I think after a little bit of consideration, that's just a little too many yards to go for 4th down backed up in your own end. So Twinsburg will send out the punter.
Tell you what, man, big Jude Hadler over there for Wadsworth. Just did a great job defensively, disrupting, looked like Okuma's route.
Another short hop back to Anello, and he handles it again, and fair caught at the 41. That was almost trouble for Wadsworth, but able to come up with it was Jack McNeil. Another short field for the Grizzlies. We do have a penalty flag on the field. See what this is about. All right, so it'll be holding on the return. They'll back up the Grizzlies. It's a break for Twinsburg. It's still crazy to me how often you see blocks in the back and holding at every level of football, even the NFL, on punts.
I think sometimes you just can't hold your excitement.
Right.
You know, the possibility of that big play, you know, excitement that those blocks give. And I think some players, look, they just go for it.
Feels like 50% of punt returns, you see a penalty, and it's always on the return team.
Especially when they're taking it back, huh?
Right. Oh, yeah. That's got to drive you crazy if you're a returner and you get rip off a big one and it gets called back. Anyway, 1st and 10 on the 31. Great job there, making the move. That's going to be Madigan.
Great run, just the patience, man. Twinsburg was there. You know, they did a great job of filling, but see the side step.
Yeah.
Like a lateral hop, and he did a great job of finding space and lowering that shoulder and getting the 1st down.
That was about a 15-yard pickup, and about 2 defenders run over. Ball's now on the 44, and they'll go play action. Has a man wide open in the flat, and he's going to get a 1st down across the 50 down to the 44. So I like the play calling for Wadsworth because they're giving Hall the opportunity to run, like sprint out of the pocket and just make the easy throw. He hasn't had to go downfield yet.
You're right, and they're definitely allowing him to just chip away. You know, he's taking what the defense gives them, and he's slowly carrying the Grizzlies down the football field.
Run up the middle again to Madigan, carries some defenders, and he's just a load to bring down. Tigers are going to substitute a couple big boys in on the defensive line. About halfway through now, the 1st quarter. A stoppage of the clock. I can't tell if it was a shaken up player or what, but we're moving again. Next week is the midpoint of our regular season. Every year we say it, but it's hard to believe. Another play action. They've got a couple blockers out on the left side, and this is a nice play setup. I really like that.
I love that. You know, I just love the tag they had in the perimeter. And listen, man, these boys are out there moving. They're dropping their feet. They're getting their hands inside, as you can see here. And another 1st down here for the Grizzlies.
Carlos Inestroza was the recipient, and it was just well designed. They had 2 receivers out there immediately start blocking way out on the wide side. And that's not a good feeling when you're a corner and you've got 2 guys trying to block you. While we have a quick timeout on the field, we want to send you to last Saturday's girls soccer match, which was senior night for Twinsburg. We've got a clip here we want to show you. And especially watch out for this corner kick by Emma Trudell, something you don't see every day on the soccer field. Tigers playing Gilmore Academy. We're up 3-1 at the time. And look at Emma. Straight from the corner into the net.
Wow. Wow. That's some skill right there. I see you, Emma.
That made it 4-1. Twinsburg ended up winning 5-1. Check that out on the My Community Focus app if you'd like to watch a replay of that game. We do apologize for some of the technical issues. If you're watching, I'm sure you noticed, or maybe you did, or maybe you didn't, some of the technical difficulties, but feel free to go back and watch that on the app. Congratulations to Twinsburg, having a nice soccer season already. Shout out to Blake Galoja and Matt Salura. Matt was making hamburgers and hot dogs down here before the game, helping out Twinsburg. And this is going to be a jet sweep all the way into the end zone. 25-yard touchdown, 13-0 Grizzlies. Tommy Hone that time.
Yeah, holding. I think it's coming back.
Look at that. You're right. Spoke too soon. And come to think of it, that looked too easy. The whole makes sense.
Something went wrong there, I felt like.
Yep. So let's see if Twinsburg, can they get revitalized after that penalty? You know, save themselves a touchdown. Because it could have been Josh Collins, number 6, getting held. Somebody who's getting held out there. And now that's going to move Wadsworth all the way back to the 35, 1st and 20. Here's a chance if you could galvanize this defense. Get aggressive. Pitch out to Madigan on the left side, and there's Twinsburg. That's that wall of defense.
That's the way you bring all those hats to the football, and that's the way to get low. You got to get low on Madigan. He's setting you up. He's great with his change of speed, and what a great job of Big Joey Farrell getting in on there and laying the wood.
Cole Kramer, too, putting his 180-pound frame. Yeah, Farrell just stopped him in his tracks. Pickup of 1, 2nd and long. Twinsburg looking like they're going man coverage on the outside. This is going to be a long throw, and it's knocked away at the last second by Cole Kramer.
Cole Kramer, what a play, what a play, what a layout. I tell you what, he saved the first down there.
Yep.
That's the effort you're going to need playing and play out here.
Bryson Hall with a rifle on that one, too.
Big
Coach
third down
Justin
here, man.
Todd.
Third down 20. Twinsburg got to keep everything in front of them here and stay disciplined.
Empty backfield, 3 receivers to the top, 2 to the bottom. Bryson Hall is going to get a cheap 5 yards. That's a discipline thing and a smart play there by the offense.
Now you mentioned it. You got to expect that. You got to think that something's coming here, especially with a great team.
So that'll be offsides. March it forward 5. And that'll still bring up 3rd and long, but now it's 14 instead of 19. Now you can even get, a little closer to 4-down territory if you pick up 7 or 8 on this play. Again, empty backfield. Look like the play hasn't changed. Hall. Nice pocket, and he tries to fit it in, and he does. Touchdown Wadsworth with the skinny post to Jacob Ernest. That's his 2nd of the game.
A pass. And he stepped up in that pocket and threw a strike. Looked like it went through between a couple Twinsburg defenders, and just a great ball by QB1.
I thought that was getting picked off because there was bracketing of defenders, and it just snuck in there. And how about the bright future for Bryson Hall? Dinwiddie back on to try to make it 14-0. He does. Despite the penalty, Wadsworth steps up and goes 3rd and 14, rifle down the middle. See if we can get another look at that pass. because the coverage is pretty good.
Coverage is good. I even thought Twinsburg brought a little bit of pressure on the outside. You know, you see a step up here in the pocket by Ryan and eyes on the target. Just a strike right down center, man.
Rob Herndon was so close. I feel like he got his hand within 2 inches of that ball. He was bracketing on the inside. Then you had the safety coming over, who was just a hair behind the football, and part of that's because of the velocity put on by Hall.
Well, you see Ryan eyeing his target. He knew pre-snap where he had the advantage. You saw right when that ball was snapped, he glued his eyes right to Ernest, and he was able to deliver a strike for 6.
You saw Herndon kind of kicking himself there. I think if he had maybe laid out for that one, could have got his hand on it, but I bet he was thinking, I'm picking this thing off, I'm going to try to run the other way, but the zip on the ball might have been a little unexpected. The Twins were going to have to regroup, and they desperately need a couple first downs. Dinwiddie will tee it up at the 40. Last one went into the end zone. They'll do it again. So last week we saw Nordonia put the hurt on Mayfield. Week 2, we saw Aurora take care of their opponent, and week 1, we saw Twinsburg Aurora, and the Greenmen took care of business here. I know Twinsburg's missing that All-Ohio quarterback, Joey Pollock, too.
Yeah, they're missing Pollock. They're missing Ricardo on the outside. Yep. You know, they're a little down here tonight, you know. But like I said, I know Coach Saunders expects these boys to battle, these boys to fight, claw, and inch. And again, they just got to stay disciplined. Stay disciplined, stay sound. Wadsworth, look, they had a good drive, made a couple of great plays that drive. But, again, bounce back here this drive, and let's see what can happen.
They'll try the pistol formation. And it'll be play action, and he had a man as Herndon broke free, but the pressure got to Fantone just a little too soon.
I tell you what, the one thing I like about Dylan, you see early, is he has some pretty good awareness. You know, you saw on that boot, you know, Wadsworth wasn't fooled, and they had pressure in the backfield, and he was able to get that ball out just to not take a sack.
It is nice too, because I feel like more inexperienced quarterbacks will tend to take that sack. And they don't want to throw the ball away. And that time, you know, that wasn't exactly throwing it away, but I like how he got rid of it and put it where either his guy could get it or nobody could get it. Kienzlin will go up the middle, and the defense was waiting. Sean Kincaid in there early for the Grizzlies.
You see the pressure. You see the tag there on the outside. But, again, that means, you know, there's just another option for another playmaker to come in and make a play. And what you saw there, they are loaded defensively. They're strong. They're physical. And, you know, they are tough to handle on that defensive line.
I think this year Wadsworth feels like with their team and that junior class they've got, they think they can compete with, obviously they can compete with the Medinas, but, you know, the Avons, the Olmsted Falls, the Hobans of the world. They think this is their year to really make some real noise in the playoffs. Last year they were a touchdown or 2 away from beating Medina in the playoffs. And they've made it to the state semifinals before, you know, back in the days of Jack Snowball. If you remember him, the running back.
Okay, I remember him.
And I think it was Joey Bauman who ended up winning Mr. Football. Those years that they would spread out 5 wide and just run 5 verticals down the field and just launch it up the seam every play. He was throwing for like 500 yards a game. They definitely feel like they've got that identity this year of a running team and then like the short passing game where they just swing it side to side and give their playmakers the football. This punt is caught on the 45. Nice return, still staying in bounds across the 35. And this will set the Grizzlies up with really good field position again. So Twinsburg, 3 drives, 3 3-and-outs. Wadsworth, 2 drives, 2 touchdowns. And they're picking up the 3rd as we've still got 3.5 minutes to play in the first quarter. Elsewhere in the area tonight, Nordonia's playing Solon. That should be a fun one.
Should be a fun rivalry.
And Aurora 3-0 is playing a 3-0 Revere team. So it'll be interesting to see what, you know, how much of a threat is Revere in that conference this year? We know what the Greenmen can do. I'd like to see an Aurora Wadsworth matchup, to be honest.
I would too. You know, again, two similar styles, two big dog opponents. That would definitely be a game to see there.
So Bryson Hall is 2 touchdown passes in the first quarter. He's going to throw it again right over the middle. And that was a beautiful pitch and catch. First down, still on his feet, dragging defenders about 7 yards. Down to the 11-yard line. Nice play by Luke Maddox. And honestly, Dominique, we've had 5 or 6 receivers catch a football already.
And I tell you what, I feel like, you know, all these receivers are over 185+ pounds. You
Yep.
know, again, it shows the true dedication, the true craft to their commitment. And they're having some success offensively earlier. So we got another penalty on the Grizzlies coming back. Illegal man downfield.
Well, that spoils the nice gain from Luke Maddox, where he fought for a lot of yardage.
And if Twinsburg can just take advantage of these,
right.
you know, these penalties that are delaying some of the Grizzlies' drive. You know, I know last drive, but look, Stoops did a great job of making some big-time plays. But now it's another drive. Twinsburg got to dig deep here and make sure they don't allow the Grizzlies to take advantage of the situation.
Right now, it looks like Twinsburg's overmatched, but like you said, if they can get a tip pass, an interception, like they can get some momentum. They just need to capitalize. There's a nice collision right there at the 35-yard line. Josh Collins stuck his shoulder in there.
I'll tell you what, the Grizzlies are doing a lot of naked bootleg action.
Yep.
You know, behind big right tackle, it looks like over there, Jaden Gross. You know, their quarterback's getting outside. He's done a great job of putting pressure on the defense, and he's definitely having some success. I'm sorry, of course, it's a big Eli Kaufman. Makes sense now, huh?
Yeah, that's the man you mentioned. Second and 9 after 6 on that gain. Hall is going to run it up the middle. He's got some space, and he'll wisely slide. He looks like a veteran, not even taking the big hit. I just saw on the board flashed flag on the play, but I think that was from a previous play. Wadsworth's going to hurry. They'll throw it out again, and Twinsburg's there, need to make the tackle. They do, but I think he's right at the marker. Let's see what they do. See, that time Twinsburg did what they needed to do. They had a corner on the receiver who was trying to block, really stand him up and allow time for his buddies to come over. And it looks like they're going to bring out the sticks to measure.
As you mentioned, you know, the Tigers are fighting. They are fighting.
Yep.
You know, they're struggling offensively. You know, they only have 9 plays for 10 yards. But on the other end, you know, defensively, they're holding the Grizzlies to 35 rushing yards on the ground. They do have the Grizzlies do have 111 passing yards where they're having their key success. But again, Twinsburg has 0 first downs compared to the Grizzlies' 8. And I think that right now in this first quarter has been the difference maker.
Yep. And it looks like there's going to be is it a first down or is it 4th down by a hair? It looks like a first down. So Wadsworth got it by 2 inches.
First and 10, Grizzlies.
Doesn't get much closer than that. I don't know if we have Bryson Hall's numbers, but he may have only missed on 1 throw so far.
2, close enough. He's 9 for 11, 115 yards, 2 touchdowns, the long of 30, and an average of 10.5 yards per throw. So as you mentioned, every throw he drops back and it's pretty much for a first down every time. So
how about that for a freshman in a 1 quarter of play? He's going to throw it again. The RPO up the seam, caught, touchdown.
Tell you what, man, Ryan Stoops, he's the real deal. He is the real deal. He has a strike. Just look at the ball placement. Stepping up in the pocket. Defenders were in the vicinity, but he places it high in a place where only his receiver can get it.
Calix Lamp, 5'11", 180. He's got pretty good size for a high school receiver. Third week in a row that he scored a touchdown. Hall, the freshman, with 3 touchdown passes in the first quarter. Dinwiddie on for the extra point is good again. So that's where we're at. 1:26 to play, cue number 1. And this play action game is just really working well for Wadsworth. And to complicate things, they're doing something I think that's next level on that offensive line is they're pulling a couple players. Normally, I think, if you're taking your cues as a linebacker, as a safety, you see guys pulling, you're thinking running play. So you're going to rush up, and that just creates a big gap. Look at the guard pulling over.
Yeah, we've seen pulls.
We had a guy that was way downfield, by the way.
We've seen pulls from the guard, tackles, the center, pretty much every person on the offensive line. And again, when you have such a dynamic threat, with the QB,
yeah,
with Madigan in the backfield, it's really, really hard to defend. You see the misdirection, you see the play action, you see the naked boot. They're just throwing so much at Twinsburg, and it's still only the first quarter.
And I don't know if that player, the second pulling man was an eligible receiver, and that was making sense. But if he wasn't eligible, he essentially was running downfield. That could have been another illegal man downfield. But nonetheless, it doesn't take away from how accurate Hall has been. This one will be returned from the 2. Twinsburg could use a big return. Need a cutback. Still on his feet. Inside the 30 is J.D. Okuma breathing life into the home field.
I'll tell you what, guess who, Pete?
Yep.
He's a guy that always answers the call for Twinsburg. Big J.D., man, I love this kid. He's a tough football player, and he's a competitor.
Look at the blocking. It opened up for him. He picked the lane and he went right by the kicker. He was one player away as he ended up down at the 25-yard line. 73-yard return. That's got to do something for you, momentum-wise.
You would expect, gives the Tigers a little bit of a spark here to start this drive. We've got 3-by-1 formation. Maybe looking for some quick action here.
Comes a sprint out, looking for the second level, and the throw is there. And it's incomplete, but there's a penalty, possible helmet-to-helmet hit in that secondary.
Tell you what a ball. What a ball. What a great ball on the run, pressure, and looks like we got a potential helmet-to-helmet contact here.
Intended receiver was Kyle Anello. And I really like you said, the ball positioning on the run there from Fantone.
That's the one thing they talked about, his arm. You see him looking downfield, there's pressure, he steps up, delivers a strike. What a great ball.
And that was really like a forearm. I can't tell if it went to the head or if it was to the shoulder. It may have been a forearm to the head. Here's the call. Okay. Here might be the call. So I'm not clear after that signal what's going on. There's at least a sideline warning on Twinsburg.
First penalty flag is a personal foul against the Grizzlies.
A lot of pointing, and I think it's going to be on Wadsworth. So they'll. Okay, so they did get the helmet shot. I think a lot of Twinsburg coaches came on the field. Needed to be warned, and this is going to be a throw on 1st and 10 now, and that's complete for a couple to Cole Kramer. That time Fantone got it out very quickly and picked up about 4.
And I think that's what, he's a smart player. I think that's what he's going to have to do. I think the coaches understand that as well. This quick game is going to have to be their bread and butter here offensively.
Shotgun again, looking to the sideline. Lucas Kienzlin in the backfield to Fantone's right.
You got man-to-man coverage there to the boundary. You might look him to take a shot there.
This will be a handoff Kienzlin, and he is caught really as he even sniffed the line of scrimmage, was able to fall forward for a yard or so.
I like this matchup here, with Rob Herndon down here. It looks like he has, at least a 4-inch height advantage over Adam Hecko. And, if they can put him in a situation where they can get man-to-man, that might be something they're going to talk about here as the quarter winds down.
So I think good timing for Twinsburg is they'll get a chance to discuss how they want to approach this third down. And with that, we played a quarter. It's been all Wadsworth until that 73-yard kickoff return by Okuma that has set up Twinsburg now inside the 10-yard line. While we have a quick break, we want to mention something pretty cool that happened this week. Now, a surprise announcement in Twinsburg when the State Board of Education recognized high school English teacher Danae Pinkney as the 2025 Ohio Teacher of the Year.
That's big time. That's big time. Yeah, for sure. Obviously, Danae, she's great at what she does. The students love her. You can see she's emotional here. But, again, this is very exciting for sure to have a great teacher, obviously, get that award here in Twinsburg.
If you want to watch the entire ceremony, you can go on the My Community Focus app. If you go to the In Focus or Twinsburg categories, we've got that whole presentation ceremony on our app. We've got coverage of it, and it's pretty cool. You got a lot of the school right there, everybody giving her a big round of applause. I mean, to be the Teacher of the Year throughout the whole state, that's pretty special.
It's definitely special. It's a big-time award for sure.
Congratulations to Danae, and that says something, too, about the quality of education in Twinsburg. This is a swing pass on third down, has some blockers out in front of him, and he's going to be a little short.
Tell you what, Pete, Wadsworth is so physical.
Yeah.
They're just so physical. They're looking for contact. The DBs are looking to shed those blocks. You can see here they're driving their feet and still making a tackle.
And the blocks were there, too. Wadsworth they don't get out of lane. It seems like they're just so disciplined. And on 4th and 5, Twinsburg is going to actually kick the field goal. I think maybe they're thinking psychologically we've got to get on the board.
Yeah, psychologically you get some points on the board. You get your boys thinking, hey, we can score against these guys. You saw that drive. They were able to pick up a couple first downs, and it's something exciting to see as they progress. What a kick, huh, Pete?
From the hash, it's Mason Border. The junior just boots it through. So Twinsburg has got some points, 21-3 now.
As you can see, in the second quarter with the 11 minutes and 12 seconds left, Wadsworth has 174 total yards on 18 plays. Twinsburg has just 12 yards on 11 plays. They were able to come away with points away in that drive. And again, like you mentioned, something they can hang their hats off of and try to gain some momentum as the second quarter progresses.
While we prepare for the kickoff, I want to talk to you about this month's classic sports game that's on our channel, and that's the 1993 Twinsburg Tigers against Nordonia Knights, one of the great Twinsburg teams of all time with Anthony White on the team. This is when Twinsburg was the Chamberlain High School Tigers. See Anthony White rumbling up the sideline.
Big time.
Look at that old grass field,
old
too.
Field, old jerseys, old everything.
But Nordonia makes it a game. A lot of action involved. So if you want to go back and watch that, if you're a Nordonia or a Twinsburg grad going back to the 90s, go on to the My Community Focus app or watch channel 1021 on Spectrum if you want to watch our classic sports game of the month. See the Twinsburg cheerleaders, and I saw a lot of, look like youth cheerleaders around here tonight. Everybody's working hard. It's There is going to be a diving on the football at the 15-yard line.
The Grizzlies, number
And
88, Reese Simmons,
nice job
on the
of
return.
directional kicking by the Tigers. This is the first bad field position Wadsworth had.
And you're right. You know, that's something, you know, Twinsburg can try and take advantage of. And what a great kick to put those guys starting what looks like on the 16, 17-yard line.
Well, you want to be a Twinsburg coach? This is what the vantage point looks like, right from the sideline.
The 17-yard line.
Our guy Rob Hare on the sideline, mixing it up with the players and coaches.
Big Rob gets some good shots down there.
Oh, yeah. Always jockeying for position. So here's another opportunity for the Tigers defense. Can they slow down Wadsworth? Force a punt. Another empty set and a quick sprint out. It's just a swing pass. We've got a flag thrown late.
Behind the back. Block there. Block behind the back, it looks like.
Yeah, if there's one area Wadsworth hasn't excelled so far, it's been a clean game. They've had a number of holding penalties.
Looks like they got Troy Myers on a block behind the back there.
I wonder, will we see some pressure by Twinsburg too? You know, because we've seen Wadsworth come after him a few times. We haven't really seen Twinsburg sell out on a blitz yet. Well, that'll move the Grizzlies back into really the shadow of their own end zone.
And like we mentioned, man, again, another penalty in the drive for the Grizzlies.
Yeah.
They're not playing the best of football in terms of Wadsworth style, and Tigers can take advantage of this.
This will be another play action. This is a quick screen. Twinsburg covers it relatively well, but it's going to be about an 8-yard pickup. How about the way how about the way he caught it, curled right around his blockers?
That's definitely been repped out a lot during practice throughout the season.
Reese Simmons was the recipient there. So the Grizzlies go like 8 deep in terms of who they throw the ball to. You can't key on anybody. I don't know if you remember when, I'm sure you do, when Reggie Bush, Lendale White were at USC, and then they had, it was like Robert. They had receivers too, and you couldn't key on anybody because everybody could hurt you. This time Hall's going to run it himself and runs into the Tigers. Nice job there by Ball Bueller.
Tell you what, Bueller did a great job of keeping outside contained, and you know he's got a big time matchup tonight going against Big Eli over there. But he's done a great job playing and play out of battling. He's battling his tail off, and that time he won the edge there.
This would be huge for the Tigers. They can get this stop. Wadsworth's been so good on this 5-wide set. He's got those big tackles too. See him standing up right now. Twinsburg looks like they're going to sell out man right now. They've got in trouble. He throws down the middle of the field and it's caught. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
With 3 men in his face, Hall throws a strike to Jacob Ernest in stride.
Twinsburg had pressure in the backfield here. Ernest did a great job of adjusting his route, catching the football, and man, Stoops, man, you got to give credit to Stoops. He's able to, you know, avoid the pressure, stay poised, stay in the pocket, and delivers a strike downfield.
Here's a run on first down. Man, that is demoralizing if you're Twinsburg. They had pressure. Hall was in trouble right in the pocket. And I don't know how, as a freshman, he gets away from that and still looks downfield. Look at that. That's Joseph Farrell right in his face.
Wow.
My goodness. Collins then saved the touchdown with the tackle. But like you said, they went zeroed out, all man on man, no safety deep. And we've got a timeout because Twinsburg was trying to run their 2 big men off the field, and they weren't going to make it in time.
Twinsburg, this is their second charge, timeout and a half.
It's a game of inches, man.
Yes, and Twinsburg had to call a timeout, waste a timeout there because just had a little bit of miscommunication about who's supposed to be in the game. But man, like you mentioned, what a great play. You know, Twinsburg had the right answer, had the right call defensively. However, they just were not able to secure the tackle.
And they went from probable sack, punt on 4th down, inside their own 20. Twinsburg probably getting the ball around the 40. From that to now knocking on the door for another score. There's the Wadsworth cheerleading squad. So at halftime, we've got Varsity Digest featuring Twinsburg Golf, and we'll also give a look at some of the amenities they've added to Glenn Chamberlain Park in the Twinsburg area. So stick around for that, along with the Twinsburg Band Show. There's a run right up the middle, breaking away from the defense, but then getting dragged down, I believe, is Gavin Madigan.
Madigan again. Rob Hearn was able to save the scoring touchdown there, but Madigan's done a great job of just being patient, and he's reading whichever hole opens up, and he's exploiting that.
They'll hurry it up and see if they can't punch this thing in, and it looks like Madigan is going to get there. That time it was a 13-yard rushing touchdown, and that's going to be 27-3 Wadsworth. This is already going to be a tough game on the schedule for Twinsburg, although they took Wadsworth down to the wire last year. And with some of those injuries, we thought it was even going to be a taller mountain to climb, and that's come to fruition so far.
Yeah, like you mentioned, you know, some of these injuries are hurting Twinsburg. You got guys in position, you know, just where they're not used to being in. And,
yep.
You know, obviously, it's next man up mentality. Wadsworth is just such a stout opponent. You mentioned the depth earlier. They got receptions by over 6 different receivers. So I think that's important that Twinsburg keeps battling, keeps fighting, and tries to overcome this deficit as the game progresses.
There's the water tower behind this football stadium. Beautiful view, beautiful night.
Post Road.
Yep. 3 out of 4 Friday nights so far have been gorgeous football nights. Last week we saw rain the entire game when Twinsburg played, or excuse me, North London played Mayfield. Tonight's picture perfect. And speaking of picture perfect, we've got Instagram. Focus Ohio is how you can find us. Follow us there. You can get updates. You can get pictures, video, footage, sports, and otherwise. Follow us at Focus Ohio if you don't already. You said it, the Cleveland Browns game of the week, and that was obviously when both teams were at full strength. It was when that game was picked to be that, and I wonder if that isn't like a compliment for Twinsburg in general, though, in terms of where the program is compared to where it was a few years ago. Just the fact that that could be a Cleveland Browns game of the week, it says something about the credibility that Twinsburg is building.
For sure, and you know, Twinsburg, you know, they're in a little bit of a rebuilding year this year. They lost their entire defense, and they have gotten a couple transfers that have helped them this far, you know, and you know they're going to continue to fight, and as you mentioned, so each opponent we talked about, it might be cliche, but the schedule's tough, so night in and night out, they understand that they got to bring it.
Another good return there by Okuma. He almost took it the last one of the house. Coming right at you. Yeah, that tackling continued out of bounds. So let's see what Fantone's got here. 8:33 to play in the second quarter. Unless something changes, we could be heading for the running clock in the second half. Fantone would like to do something about that.
Twinsburg comes down in that 3-by-1. You look here to the boundary where, looks like we got a counter. Or draw, I'm sorry.
Kienzland had it, and I thought he might have something for a minute, but Wadsworth just stayed disciplined. He ended up losing one. Wadsworth has gotten so many chunk plays for first downs when the clock stops after you move the chains that this clock has not been running a whole lot tonight.
You mentioned it, 13 total first downs.
There was a late throw into double coverage, nearly picked off, and now we've got a penalty flag way behind the play. I wonder if that'll be some kind of late hit. It's a dangerous throw there. See what that flag is all about. That was back in the zone where it could be holding on the offense. It could be a, some kind of roughing the passer.
Well, the one thing, as you mentioned, these penalties for Wadsworth has definitely bitten them in the butt. So we have to decide and see what the Zebras have here.
Yep.
Looks like it might be on Twinsburg if they're over there speaking with Coach Todd. Maybe he's deciding what he wants to do with it.
Right. Does he want to back him up, repeat the down, or decline the penalty? Yep. Good point. So we're looking at 3rd and 11. Obvious passing situation for the Tigers. Let's see if Fantone can air it out here. Wadsworth's had a lot of success up the seam, running those slants or those deep slants. Would like to see Twinsburg, rather than sticking to the outside, go right up the middle. So we're back in play. And this will be just a running play. The Tigers will stay conservative. My guess is they'll run it, then punt it.
Yeah, well, we got 4th down. Looks like 4th down and 9. I'm sorry, 11, 10 or 11.
That's one where you want to keep playing field position. Although we would have liked to see him air it out a little bit. Down 28-3. If they're going to go with the, let's not make a big mistake. Let's punt it away. Let our defense have another crack at it. So Anello on the punt. And this time the snap was much better. Punt is low. Picked up off the bounce and down he goes. That's one area Twinsburg's been really good is punt coverage.
They've done a great job of getting down and keeping contained. 28-3 here in the second quarter. Wadsworth has the ball, looks like on about the 43, 44 yard line. Twinsburg needs to stand here to keep this clock, under that running motion.
So there's the Tiger marching band. You'll see them in a few minutes at halftime. Again, also you'll get a chance to watch the Varsity Digest, talking about the golf team, as well as Glen Meadows Park. Excuse me, Glen Chamberlain Park. This is going to be a delayed handoff. Yep, coming back to the right side on first down, and a pretty good game, but Twinsburg was there. Didn't get outflanked.
Too, I like the way big number 8 for the Tigers, Bob Buller's doing a great job. He's battling, man. And every play to go up against the Division I prospect, he's doing a great job of fighting using his hands. As you can see here, he kept contained and was able to disrupt that offensive play.
Hall is going to run out to his left here. What a job of squaring his shoulders, finding his receiver. And this is going to be Lamp for the touchdown. 53 yards.
Well, there's some speed, huh?
Woo. Lamp is just a junior. This team is made of junior crushers.
Junior crushers, junior workhorses, man. I tell you what, I've seen their social media page all year. That's 6 a.m. workouts during the season, and then going to school and going to practice after. The work ethic shows, and you see here, these boys are in shape. These boys are strong, and they definitely are playing some quality football here this season.
Dinwiddie is now 5 for 5, 35-3. And Hall is putting up some numbers at quarterback. Lamp now has his second touchdown. And the floodgates have kind of opened up. Just a nice job of pocket awareness, flushing himself out of it, and then looking across the field, down the field, squaring his shoulders and firing another strike. I mean, Hall has been on the money. That's tough to ask your defense to cover for a long period of time. Next week, though, September 20th, we've got North Royalton, the Polar Bears, coming to town to take on the Knights of Nordonia. Just going by the Bears now. I think the former artist formerly known as the Polar Bears over in North Royalton. Royalton is 0-3 to start the year. They've played some tough opponents. And Nordonia is 3-0. So the Knights playing Solon tonight. That'll be an interesting one. Solon's 2-1.
Yeah, and again, that's a down the street rivalry. And one thing is, when you play that opponent that's very familiar, you expect a good game. And especially both teams are having a pretty good start to the season. Excited to see what happens over there at that finish.
So here's another boom into the end zone by Dinwiddie. And it's kind of interesting. When he booms it into the end zone, there's been no gain. So anytime Okuma's got his hand on the football, he's had nice kickoff returns. And he's really been the biggest offensive weapon tonight.
He has, and he's a playmaker. We saw pretty much so far. We saw earlier in the year with Aurora. When that ball's in his hands, he finds a way to make a play. And Twinsburg unfortunately just can't find that consistent effort of getting him the ball, getting other guys the ball, and obviously these injuries hurt. So we'll see what happens here this drive and what Twinsburg can kind of cook up here.
First and 10, it'll be a handoff right up the middle and a little bit of space to run for Kiensland. He's hanging in there, man. He's getting hit hard on every play.
Yeah, looks like he got about 3 yards there, 2-3 yards. Anything positive in that first down is critical.
Yep.
You can, like you said, you can shorten the field, shorten the possession here for that young QB Dylan behind center, and give him a shot on second and third down to get a first down.
And I think Twinsburg may only have one first down.
They're
in the
actually
first
still zero,
half.
still one. Well, yeah, you're
I
right.
think by penalty, if I'm not mistaken. So that's how suffocating the Grizzly defense has been. Here's Fantone. Nice pitch and catch to the outside, and there's the first down. All we had to do was mention it.
I like that connection, Big Rob out there. Rob did a great job of coming back to the football and keeping his feet moving. We talked about that earlier. As you see him catching it, coming back towards Dylan, and he's able to get outside to gain some yak. First down for the Tigers.
Rob's still a junior, so he's got a bright future. I can see him lacing up and playing in college somewhere. Got a good pedigree as well. There's a swing pass. Had a blocker out on the outside for Kiensland. He ended up getting a short gain. But that's the kind of offense I think we need to see. Some quick passes, but make those easy passes. Do have some laundry on the field. And I'm seeing potential personal foul. See what we got. Okay. So this will march Twinsburg forward. And there's the Tiger faithful student section showed up and showed out tonight.
Showing out. Paint game. You got the horns. You got the bells.
It's the kind of crowd you're hoping to see during basketball season too, right?
That's right. That's right. We need you guys out there Tuesday, Friday nights.
Which in about 2 weeks we'll start talking about basketball based on the
time for sure.
how fast it's going and running out.
Oh, what a nice catch.
Climbing the ladder right there. Evan Blyle. Nice catch there. And he might have got hit in the head after that. Twinsburg trying to hurry up and get to the line, but the referees are still conferring about what to call. There is a flag on the field. Yep, it's on Wadsworth again. That'll be a face mask. Hey, if that's what it takes for Twinsburg to get down the field, they'll take it. 35-3 is the score. Clock's going to keep moving, under 5 minutes now. This will be a handoff up the middle. Too much pressure, though.
What a play, man. What a play. It looked like a shoe-saving tackle. Bowden Bollinger, sophomore. Another 200-plus pounder defensively for the Wadsworth Grizzlies. And
that's a Wadsworth name, and that's like a University of Wisconsin name.
Yes, it is.
Bowden Bollinger. That kid was born to be a linebacker, wearing red and white. So 2nd and 10. And the timing was off there. I think that's illegal procedure. Penalties are starting to stack up in this game. Oh, okay. Wow. I thought they might get Twinsburg for that. Man, Wadsworth, that's the one Achilles heel so far, has been a ton of penalties.
It's definitely hurting them, you know, defensively and offensively. Wadsworth has over 70 yards in penalties. Ooh. In just the first half. I know that's something Coach Todd is not happy about.
Yep. The Tigers with another scoring opportunity. Pressure, pressure, pressure. And the ball tipped. That was a dangerous area to throw the football. I think they were trying to set up the middle screen to Kinsland.
Fantone's screen pass intended for number 7, Lucas Kinsland, incomplete.
And I think Fantone is shaken up a little bit. Let's take another look.
From the 32-yard line.
Oh, he took a shot there.
Yeah, he did. And I think he was appealing to the referee, saying thought it might have been late, but I think the momentum was there and took a big hit. So it looks like he's going to come off the field. Twinsburg's going to need another quarterback for this 3rd down play. I see Baron Grant, number 11. Looks like he's trotting on the field. One more look. Man, he got hit hard. I think it was a clean hit, at least from our standpoint. So 3rd and 5, new quarterback in. Let's see who's going to end up taking it. Yeah, it is Grant, the junior, 5'8". Needs 5 yards. Kinsland has it, needs to make a man miss. The tackling is just so good on that end by Bollinger.
Yeah, they're sure tacklers. They are, and they do a great job of just form tackling. They keep their head up, they keep their feet driving. And that's why you see a lot of Twinsburg and the football players not able to break these tackles.
4th and 5 for the Tigers from the 32-yard line.
Definitely 4-down territory, though. Nothing to lose if you're Twinsburg. You got to try to get a couple yards, move the sticks, and Fantone's going to come back out there. 2-by-2, receiver set. Play action, he's on the run already, and he just has to throw it into the ground. There's a flag, most likely in the area of holding. If that's the case, it's going to end this drive.
Yeah, we probably got holding on, it looks like the left side of the offensive line.
Yep, that'll be declined, and Wadsworth will take over on offense. So a promising drive there by Twinsburg.
Yeah, not a bad drive. Got some first downs. Look like they got 3 first downs on that drive. Something to look forward to as the game progresses.
.255, it'll be interesting to see the strategy for Wadsworth. Will they keep the ones in, try to get one more score, or at least run out the clock into halftime? Or will they start putting in some of the reserves? A lot of season left for both of these teams. Twinsburg at 2-1. Wadsworth looking to go 4-0. Bryson Hall, who's had an outstanding first quarter and a half, hands it off. That's Madigan. He's still on his feet, inside the 30, inside the 20. Delivers a blow at the end of that play, and I think that answers our question. What's the strategy?
Man, that guy is just a big dog. That's a player I call just a tough nails football player. See here, not only does he break it to the outside, breaks the run, but as you see here, how many guys you think looking to get out of bounds here?
Yep.
He's looking for more contact, more yards after the carry, and just a big-time football player.
Besides the dish out a little punishment, too. I mean, just good vision, doesn't rush it either. Just sort of sidestepped a couple defenders, broke a couple tackles at the line of scrimmage. They're inside the red zone. Wadsworth has scored a touchdown on every single offensive possession so far. 5 for 5. Play action, moonshot into the end zone, a little bit overthrown. Good coverage there. Sean Jennings had it.
Great coverage. Looks like there was some miscommunication where the receiver tried to break inward. Ball's a little bit far over his head, and great defense by Jennings.
And is it 3 touchdowns that Hall has?
4.
Woo! Not a bad day at the office. That would have been 5. Pitch out to the right side, making a man miss, is going to find space in the corner. Another touchdown, Wadsworth. This time it's Cooper Gray.
6 possessions, 6 touchdowns.
This is a team that came to play tonight and this whole season. Got some kind of offensive skill room there at Wadsworth. Dinwiddie again is good. So with 2:13 to play in the first half, we've got 42-3 Wadsworth, and you saw the senior cheerleaders in that picture, and there they are on the track for Twinsburg. Tigers need to continue to fight, and there's another look at the senior cheerleaders. Congratulations. Their hard work and effort throughout this season. Yeah, not much to say about this right now other than
just a perfection performance over there, by the Grizzlies. They are offensively, defensively, they're just well sound. They're executing on both sides of the football. The only, thing that you can, critique them for is their penalties.
Yeah.
But again, when you still put up 42 points in the first half, I don't know how much critique
right.
you can really do.
And as a coach, too, you don't want to walk into halftime and just say, you guys are perfect, you did everything great. You got to have some sort of coaching points to keep them hungry and motivated and not getting lackadaisical. So that might be the message. You're playing sloppy.
Really?
On the other side, you know, you've said it a couple times, but I think that just the mentality of keep fighting. We're going to find out today what young guys want to step up and want to get more playing time on varsity, what juniors and seniors, you know, are going to continue to play for pride and respect.
What a kickoff. But you're right, and I think that's the biggest thing. Who are you going to see develop and show that mental toughness? You know, yeah, the game's, you know, maybe not where you want it to be. Well, not where you want it to be on the Twinsburg side for sure. But again, who's going to keep that next play mentality, keep that positive mental attitude on executing play in and play out here as the game progresses?
Yep. Still get to hit somebody, you know?
That's right. That's right. You're right about that.
Score. So 2:10 to play, and I would just look, too, for can we put together a drive, a touchdown drive, whether it's right now, whether it's sometime in the second half. So can you show that you can execute against a really high-level team one offensive touchdown drive? And they've almost done it a couple times tonight. Haven't been able to finish. That was kind of the story against Aurora in week 1, too. Twinsburg put together a number of good drives, even down to the 1-yard line, just couldn't quite punch it in. There's Kingsland. This might be the best run of the game for him. As
keep those feet moving.
He's still fighting. First down and more.
He's been running hard. I know he hasn't maybe broken one before this run here, but he's been working hard, carry in after carry out, keeping those feet moving. Way to keep those feet chopping off the first initial contact, and first down Tigers on the 33-yard line. 2 minutes left to play here in the second quarter.
That time, Big 74, too, got to the second level and pushed a linebacker about 6 yards backward. There's Matt Salura, one of our soccer broadcasters. Want to shout out as well Pam Hogart from the Twinsburg Athletic Boosters, as she gave us full sheet pizza tonight. So
yes,
thanks to Pam.
Shout out to Pam. Yeah. Pam was amazing. I've been driving her crazy already preseason, asking for orders and all this other stuff.
Yep. Yeah, you got to get into the swing of things as far as, you know, being back coaching in this Twinsburg community. Got to get back to crossing the T's, dotting the I's as a Twinsburg coach.
Yes, sir.
I know you said some of the football players likely are going to be trying out for basketball, and you've got a solid group that's getting together already.
Yeah, a solid group, been working very hard, extremely hard, and you know, you see Rob Hernan, one of our players, hopefully future players, and played last year. But again, it's a couple guys out there, multi-sport athletes, which you love to see.
Yeah. So we had a shake-it-up player for Twinsburg. They'll replace him on the offensive line momentarily, and we got some patrons of the concession stand getting some airtime. Shout out again to Pam and the athletic boosters, anybody who's working the concession stand, anybody who's working the night in general. Fantone going up the sideline. Beautiful throw. Herndon, 20, 10, touchdown.
The shot we've been waiting for, Pete.
65 yards.
Tell you what, the young fella delivered that ball on the money, right in stride. Rob was able to break a tackle to get in the end zone for 6. What a great play to end that drive.
And just look at the relief on the sideline, and just, hey, now we executed on offense. We showed we can score on this team. How about the arm on the sophomore to drop that thing in the bucket, too. Extra point is good, so 42-10 is where we're at. Under a minute to play in the first half. I feel like the home crowd needed that. The home sideline needed that.
See, you know, the replay here. What a ball, what a pass, what a catch. Great connection, way to break this tackle here. Big time.
Rob saying, put the ball in my hands. You know, lay it out for me. Yeah, Rob's been a bright spot tonight. Him and J.D. Okuma, I'd say, have been a bright spot so far.
That drive, you know, a minute, 32 seconds, 4 plays, 81 yards, capped off by a 65 touchdown yard throw by Dylan Fantone. Connection with Big Rob. I'll tell you what, we talked about, you know, spreading that defense. We talked about, you know, taking advantage of that man-to-man coverage, and Dylan delivered a strike right before half, you know, to Rob, who's, like you mentioned, had a great season so far.
Yeah. Yeah, he's stacking up some stats. He had a touchdown catch, only score against Aurora in week 1. You know, Twinsburg put it on Akron North 44-6 in week 2. Then just took out Copley last week, and that was a tight one, 25-22. Copley a lot better this year than they were last year. They had a rough year last year, but have some skill player and some athletes. Twinsburg pretended they were going to go onside there and then lined it up deep. And again, pretty good kickoff coverage. Good punt coverage, good kickoff coverage for Twinsburg. Now another interesting question. What do you do here if you're Wadsworth U? See if you can get up and down the field in 33 seconds. You take a knee and play for the second half.
Ball spotted at the 33-yard line.
Penalty on Wadsworth there.
No, I don't think that might answer your question.
Right.
You know, this is probably where Wadsworth wouldn't want the running clock.
Yeah, you're right. Unless something drastic changes, that's how we'll start the second half with the 32-point lead. Anything 30 or more puts the team in high school football in the second half with an automatic running clock. That running clock stops if the team who's down by 30 or more can reduce that deficit. And we're going to play action. Going to throw it back to nobody in particular. And should be a combination of intentional grounding
shouldn't it be?
mixed with maybe some roughing the passer. I guess we'll see. And it looks like a Marine Corps member in the house tonight.
Oh, yeah.
That's pretty cool. I am why
That's
we
sweet.
can't have nice things.
That's sweet right there.
I'm the honorary captain for tonight, so congratulations and thank him for his service. And as a father of a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old, I can tell you that that's true. This is
busy
why
man right here.
the little kids are why we can't have nice things unless we want them broken or painted on with marker. Okay. We got a lot of meandering around. And maybe a double foul? Yeah, okay.
We have 2 penalties on the play. Personal foul against the Tigers and intentional grounding against the Grizzlies. Both penalties offset.
So an offensive penalty, a defensive penalty. Cancel each other out. And if you've been waiting patiently to see the Tiger Marching Band, you are a little bit closer to seeing that as a reality. Still haven't started the next play. And we've got stoppage of play again. 24 seconds. And while we have a minute here, or several minutes, we want to let you know that tonight was a senior night for some of the fall sports. For the band, along with tennis and cross country.
What a great view.
And I believe golf. Yeah, it is a good view. So congratulations to all the seniors that were recognized tonight. We'll I'm sure football and soccer will be recognized a little bit later in the season for senior night. I kind of like how they break it up rather than
Yeah, I do. I agree with you on that.
have it all at once. And we're back in action. Wadsworth going to continue to throw the football. We're hoping they stay in bounds, and he does. The clock is under 10 seconds to play, and it looks like Coach Todd and the Grizzlies are content to let it go down to 0-0. It's been an hour and a half first half here at Twinsburg. All Wadsworth until a few minutes ago when Twinsburg fought back for a touchdown. That's where we're going to leave it at halftime. Stay tuned for Varsity Digest along with the Twinsburg marching back right after this on Focus Sports.
Team looks great this year. We've got so much talent and a lot of hard workers, so I'm very excited about that. But we have a long way to go because some of the guys have never played at the varsity level before. That's the majority of the team actually. And many have never played in an actual competitive match before. So we're working on a lot of things this year that will get them ready for those sorts of engagements as the season comes along. But I think early in the season we're going to find ourselves struggling. Hopefully it'll all pay off later on though. Rob Prevette has been with us since his freshman year, and he's been a great golfer since day one. He came to us ready to play from that time with a long track record of competitive exposure and success there, a long track record of private lessons and a lot of practice. And so he's combined the talent with the work ethic and the background in competitive play. And so this year, you know, in his culmination of his high school career, I think will be a very great year for Rob.
My favorite thing about golf is probably like the amount of time I get to spend on the course. It's like I get to get away from like just life in general. So just like it's a good distraction.
Well, I've played baseball, you know, all my life, and it's kind of been, you know, the most important sport to me. You know, I've, you know, kind of developed a family around there, and with that, you know, I kind of some of my buddies that I met through baseball, we kind of picked up the game of golf about maybe a year ago from now, and we just kind of fell in love with the game, and it was, you know, something we wanted to get better at, and you know, obviously, golf and baseball don't really go hand in hand with the swing, but we made it work, and you know, we got 4 of us on this team now, and honestly, we've been having a blast ever since the season started. You know, I'm still not the greatest, but I'm getting better day by day.
Regarding players playing other sports, I think that it's not only something that I accept, but I strongly encourage it. I wish that every athlete would play multiple sports. I feel like it creates better athletes in each sport that they play. So a golfer who also plays baseball, I think, gains an advantage as a golfer from having a background in baseball. And that could be said for any sport. So I encourage my boys to spend time in the weight room, I encourage my boys to run, and I certainly encourage my boys to play other team sports for the high school. In golf, what's really important is that players are hindered with the responsibility of policing themselves. So it's up to a player to recognize when a penalty would apply by rule and assess that penalty to himself. And so sportsmanship is critical, more so in golf than a lot of sports, because it's there are many situations that come up in a match where nobody might be watching, and you could potentially get away with something that is counter to the rules, but it's up to the athlete to impose that penalty that the rules call for.
Good sportsmanship is very important. There's like if you have bad sportsmanship, like you may kind of make a name for yourself, and like people will know like if you're a good guy or not. So it's very important.
The first thing I hope my athletes look back and think is that they had a good time on this team. I want them to love the game, and I think playing well will come as a byproduct of having fun out here and enjoying themselves. But overall, I want my boys to love being here and want to be here and love their teammates as brothers. I think that's a really important thing that I'm trying to instill in the team this year with the student athletes, is that they're here for each other. They should support each other. We're even building practices to be collaborative and matches to be collaborative in the sense that, in as much of a sense as the rules allow them to be, knowing that when teammates are out there paired together, that they should have each other's backs and be looking out for each other and support each other however they can. But I think in the end, what I hope they look back and think is, I really loved my time on the golf team.
Well, workers have been making improvements to Glen Chamberlain Park in Twinsburg all summer long. Here's a look at those impressive results.
In 2023, we received a grant through Ohio Department of Natural Resources, and we were able to update Glen Chamberlain Park. We made some ADA accessibility changes, and behind me you'll see the bridge is now removed. So we were able to bring the pathway up, and we were able to take out that bridge and add more seating for our concerts, as well as open up the area, shift one of our patios, and make room for new improvements coming down in a few years. And additionally, what we were able to do is also take care of our restroom building. The building was outdated, old, and so we brought it into the modern era and made it contemporary, and we hope to open that in a couple of weeks. Additionally, we also added a new playground. Glen Chamberlain Playground was almost 30 years old, and so we were able to, with those funds, as well as some funds through the general fund, we were able to get that new playground in. And so people have been playing on it. We have used the concert venue for this season, and we hope to make new improvements next year.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are proud to welcome to the field, under the direction of Mr. Ryan Bonds, the 2024 Twinsburg Marching Tiger Band. The band is led out to the field by junior drum major Brianna Williams and senior drum major Ryan Kramer. We begin our show with the original boy band, the Beatles. Our opening number has been covered by both the Isley Brothers and the Fab Four, but is probably best known from the movie Ferris Bueller's Day Off. This is Twist and Shout. Jumping to the present, the K-pop wave continues to gain steam behind South Korean acts like BTS and the next group, Blackpink. Their 2019 hit features a marching band sound. Here is Kill This Love. We can't do a pop beat show without a nod to the 90s, the heyday of the boy band era. Watch our talented Tigerettes dancing move to a hit by the Backstreet Boys. We close our show with Everybody's Back. them onto the field. The 7th and 8th graders are under the direction of Mr. Thomas Resnick. Is a Tiger Band favorite. Let's all dance along to that biggest hit. Do you remember? This is September.
And we're back at Twinsburg. Focus Sports Week 4, Friday Night Football coverage. Pete Hansberger, Dominique Sanders with you here as it's been almost all Wadsworth. The Grizzlies got up 42-3 to start the game. Twinsburg had a late score. The Tigers had moments on defense, but it was a freshman quarterback, Bryson Hall, this time on third down, going for the touchdown, the first of a couple to Jacob Ernest. And then he really spread the wealth on offense.
He did, man. You talk about having over 4 receivers with catches, 14 for 18, 4 incompletions, 4 touchdowns in that first half. I tell you what, he's having a day so far.
Ernest has 2 of them. He's the leading receiver. 6 catches, 119 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Calix Lamp also got in there with 2 touchdowns. He only has 2 receptions. Both were for touchdowns. That one was on a third down where Hall should have been sacked. Instead, he got away from it. Gavin Madigan, who gets a lot of headlines in the local paper, decided he wanted in on the action at running back. He's carried it 8 times for 106 yards in the TD. This is the last touchdown to Lamp.
And just his speed, you know.
Yep.
Lamp's obviously been a playmaker all season. He's their lead receptionist and also has the most yards for the Grizzlies.
There was a nice pitch and catch to Evan Blyle on Twinsburg's side, and this was Cooper Gray toward the end of the first half. Made it 42-3, and then Rob Herndon came up big, running that double route up the right sideline, got behind the defense, and Fantone delivered it to him.
You can see here stats for the first half. The rushing yards, the passing yards favor, obviously. Wadsworth, 391 total yards compared to 97 for Twinsburg. And 81 of those yards for Twinsburg happened in that last drive. 17 first downs compared to 5 for the Tigers. And the third down completion, 4 for 4 for the Grizzlies. You know, they are definitely, you know, the success here so far in that first half.
A lot of teams would love to get 391 yards in a game.
Yeah.
Wadsworth got it in the first half. And, you know, they scored on every one of their offensive possessions except for the last possession of the first half. 4 for 4 on third downs. They just have had everything clicking. And there's Dylan Fantone, the sophomore, getting his first start. He's 8 for 14, 73 yards and a touchdown. The vast majority came on that 64-yarder to Rob Herndon, who's the leading receiver. 4 catches, 79, and a touchdown for Rob.
You know, Coach Salters in that offense, you know, they gotta be excited about the future with this guy. You know, he's done a great job of protecting the football. He is 8 for 14, 70 yards and a touchdown. The one thing that I like is, you know, he's poised. He's in that pocket. He's stepping up. He's making smart decisions. He's getting rid of the football when they don't have a clear advantage. And he's definitely, you know, played a pretty solid first half in his first varsity football start.
I think for Twinsburg, it was those 3 straight 3-and-outs to start the game that really put them in a hole. Twinsburg was not able to get any of those first downs, and things snowballed a little bit from there. Tigers did get the ball to start the game, so the Grizzlies will receive to start the second half, and our guy on the PA is announcing a running clock to start the third quarter. Let's see if Twinsburg comes out and gets aggressive at all. You know, will they go for an onside kick at any point? So we're going to switch fields. Which this is kind of interesting to me. Aren't they supposed to switch the side every quarter? I think the second quarter, Wadsworth was going this way. So somebody might have gotten mixed up, or I got mixed up. The Grizzlies are not fooled right there as a potential offside kick. And how about this? It's a running clock. The clock is already running. They haven't even kicked it.
Wow.
So we had a long first half.
Every day.
Man, a lot of stoppages of the clock, a lot of penalties, mostly on Wadsworth, actually. This one's caught at the 20, tackled at the 27, which is where the Grizzlies will take over.
The Grizzlies number 20, Kyle Schmelzer on the return.
The second half, we'll talk a little bit about the standings of the Suburban League American right now. This is the first conference game of the season for these two teams. Nordonia elsewhere is up 21-7 right now against Solon. Aurora is putting it on Revere 28-10. We'll keep you updated on those games as well. And here's the first down play. It'll be a run from Bryson Hall. He's going to stay in there, the freshman QB.
No, P, I don't know if we've seen as much RPO from any other team this year,
right,
other than the Grizzlies, and they've had some success doing it.
They're showing a lot on tape for future opponents, too, how much they'll keep you off balance. Because they've gone outside for a lot of those quick swing passes. They've stayed inside. They've rolled him out quite a bit. He's even shown that he could throw the ball down the field. Pitch out to the left, and this will be a first down, but not much more. Oh, I thought it was not much more, but breaking tackles along the sideline is Gavin Madigan. He's already over 100.
Did I get the Nick Chubb stiff arm from Madigan on that drive, on that play?
I think so.
Man, that kid's tough. He's tough, and look, you better bring many hats to that ball carrier when he gets the rock in his hands. You see here, Tigers did a great job of swarming to him initially. But he's able to use a stiff arm, throw guys off of him as you see there, and just continue to keep those legs moving.
That's great offense, and conversely, not a great job of wrapping up and holding on. This will be a rifle out to the wide side of the field. Probably should have been caught, to be honest. Hall had another nice throw. He's got some arm on him for being a 9th grader. You know, Madigan's a kid that I could see, he's only 5'11". I could see being a collegiate linebacker. He definitely could play running back.
Yes, he has the size.
Division III, Division II, maybe even MAC school. But from a linebacker standpoint, he might have huge upside for a lot of schools. He's just a good football player, too. It's like you need guys like that, regardless of size. You know, you've seen there's undersized defenders and offensive players all over the place.
He can make the case that he's still growing. As you see a deep ball here.
Oh, he's got a man, beat the defense by 2 yards, but overthrew him. Luke Maddox was out there. And I don't blame Twinsburg. You kind of have to get up tight, and you need to take some chances.
Yeah, you got to play man, because you know Wadsworth's going to run the ball here. You got to put 8 in the box, you know, play man-to-man coverage on the outside, and you know, just trust that your defensive backs use their technique, proper technique to keep the offensive receiver in front of them.
More whistles. Somebody coming off a little bit slow for Twinsburg, so they'll replace Troy Smith, and they'll bring in number 40, which we don't have on the roster. And now we've got a flag. Okay, false start on Wadsworth.
That's the one thing, you know, Coach Todd's going to talk about for sure with his Grizzlies as the night ends. You know, he gets in that locker room, you can see, I'm pretty sure it's going to be the first thing that he addresses before these guys get on that bus and head home. They got to show these penalties up, especially as, you know, league play continues next week.
Yep. That's something we've criticized Nordonia and Twinsburg, you know, the last 10 years is too many penalties. This time it's Wadsworth. And that's a nice pass out to the side, but nice job by Twinsburg coming up and making the hit, and they're going to force a 4th down and 9. Okuma with the tackle. 4th down. And could we see our first punt? No. Wadsworth's going for it. They need to get inside the 33. Here's an early opportunity for the Tigers.
4th down 9. They can get up the field here, get the ball, good field position.
Twinsburg's really struggled in the 4 or 5 wide sets, trying to defend all those receivers. See if they can make it uncomfortable for Hall. 4-man rush. Clean pocket. He throws, and it's off the hands of the receiver. That'll be a turnover.
See what he did have a clean pocket. He had some time in there to deliver the strike. Receiver wasn't able to bring it in. Tigers take over and turnover downs on the 42-yard line. Great field position.
Yeah, a nice stand on defense. Because the Grizzlies still had the ones out there. Now Twinsburg has a chance to make a little more noise on offense. Twinsburg had a great season last year. Won week 11 against Nordonia in the playoffs. Big hit on Kiensland, excuse me. But to get to week 12 last year is pretty special for Twinsburg in terms of the turnaround.
Yes, you mentioned, especially like you mentioned, the turnaround. You know, they were able to deliver a lot of unexpectations, or flip, I'm sorry, a lot of unexpectations where people didn't feel that they would have, you know, that great of a season. They were able to defeat some big-time opponents, and, you know, that Nordonia game in the playoffs, I'm sure, is something that they'll always remember.
Fantone has got a man running a wheel route, and he just overthrew Belial. is I think he either got rid of it a hair too soon or just put a little too much air underneath it.
I think Blau had his first catch of the season earlier on that third down completion. Dylan's trying to find him again in the second half, just a little bit too far out front, but the right idea.
Yeah, he got loose too behind the secondary. Now 3rd and 13. This will be a short throw, complete on the out route underneath. It's going to be a Nello. Pick up about 3, maybe 4. And they'll bring out the punt unit. So at least an opportunity to flip the field position. Tigers will punt. And 2 Grizzlies are back at their own 21. I actually kind of like the approach of sending 2 guys back on the punt because you can cover more ground and
get the ball upfield quicker.
Yeah. Nello gets a good one. It's going to go over everybody's head. Bounce inside the 10.
What a punt.
Ooh, directional. Coffin's corner down to the 5-yard line out of bounds. Beautiful.
Perfect field position, great execution.
I love watching 2 punters celebrate when they break off a great one and it lands inside the 5.
Look, the work they put in day and day out.
Yeah. They deserve it, man. That's their touchdown when they can do that. Clock is going to keep running. I hear a lot about George's Donuts. They're shouting them out on the Jumbotron right now.
I didn't know they had them in the field.
I'm not either. I went one time at like 10 a.m. on a Saturday and they were sold out. Probably, they closed, yeah. I got to get out there early. This will be a quick screen into the slot. Nice cutback. And about a 7-yard gain on first down. So Twinsburg's starting to figure out, I think, some of this quick passing game.
Yeah, and they brought their DBs up. You know, they've eliminated the space. You see more tighter coverage. The defensive line also doing a great job of getting some pressure in the backfield.
Yeah. It's interesting, even up so big, Wadsworth isn't giving up the passing game. And I wonder if their coaches are thinking, we already know how to run the ball. Yeah. Like, let's get this freshman 35 attempts, you know?
They're in season form. They want to continue to polish their deficiencies, and you know they're trying here to spread that football down the field.
Calix Lamp was in the intended target there, and that time it was overthrown. 3rd and a couple inches. Now's a good time for a run, and there's a flag. I think this is going to be off offensive procedure. So from 3rd and inches to 3rd and 6.
Brings up 3rd and 6 from the 11.
Twinsburg's playing Hudson next week. Hudson's beating up on Stowe tonight. They started slow, and you said Hudson's a young team this year.
Young football team.
Yep. So that'll be an interesting matchup next week. Here's another chance. Twinsburg stopped Wadsworth on the last drive. 3rd down, a comeback route. It's complete. The tackle's right there, but they'll get it by about 2 yards. Just a nice route to come back aggressively to the football.
And that's the big thing I've seen tonight from both teams. They've done a great job of coming back to that football and attacking that football.
It's another one of those quick outs on the sideline. Nordonia up now 24-7 on Solon in the 3rd quarter. Aurora 35-13 over Revere in the 3rd as well. I was thinking about this coming into tonight. And almost a great tackle right there, but slowing down the defender was Lucas Kienzlin on defense. Coming into tonight, our area teams, if my math is correct, are 8-1 to start the season.
Yeah,
that's one of our more successful starts of the year.
Yeah, you know, the coaches talked about coming into the season how even it was in terms of teams. You know, you had a lot of even playing field. And you see right now, we've had some success over in this area. I'm excited to see how the playoffs, flow about. Aurora's looking solid. Adonia's looking solid.
Yeah.
And you got Twinsburg in the mix. Obviously, Wadsworth, and got some solid teams here that'll be right in the mix around week 10.
Handoff up the middle, and Madigan again breaking tackles. This time, Tigers go gang tackle after he picks up about 4. It does get the first down. It'll keep the clock running, and how about that? We're done with the third quarter. So we did not have a score in the third, only 3 drives total. 2 for Wadsworth as they're in the middle of their second drive. Twinsburg had 1 drive, and with the running clock, things moved rather quickly. 42-10 remains the score. Here's the rest of the Twinsburg schedule. I mentioned next week they go to Hudson, then we'll have them against Nordonia at Bolian Stadium in 2 weeks. That should be a fun one. Nordonia's looking for some revenge after that playoff loss last year to the Tigers.
They are, for sure.
Then Twinsburg will host Solon, go to North Royalton, to Brecksville, and host Stowe. All 3 of those final games, even the last 4 are winnable games, I would say, for Twinsburg. Obviously, every game is a potentially winnable game, but Royalton is down a little bit this year. Brecksville started 0 for 3. They're losing again tonight. Stowe's, I think, 1 and 2, and they're getting crushed by Hudson tonight. So opportunity for Twinsburg to fight through the middle of this schedule and then finish strong.
Yeah, for sure. Like you mentioned, and those are all opponents where you want to go in and you expect to win. I think as a head coach and as just a coach on set, that's your mindset week in and week out, no matter your opponent.
Yep.
You trust the work you put in, you trust the brothers around you, and that's the mindset I know they're going to have as they finish and take care of the season.
First and 10 for the Grizzlies from the 35.
So ball now on the 35, start of the fourth quarter. Hall's going to throw, but draped coverage. And Twinsburg trying to get the ball out. Well, Zach Wise has it. You're seeing these completions get a little bit shorter and shorter, though, I'd say.
Yeah, like you mentioned, I think, the adjustment. We saw half. Coach Rip definitely, has his DBs come up a little tighter. And again, the offensive line, I think, is wearing down a little bit. Defense is putting pressure, and, they've done a good job here in the second half.
That's a quick stop route that's complete to the sideline. And honestly, I've been involved on both sides of some of those burn the tape games where you're either blow a team out, it's not worth watching the whole game, you're not going to learn a whole lot, or you get blown out and the coach said, let's not watch that tape, let's just pick out a couple plays. I don't think this is one of them for Twinsburg. I think they will benefit, and there's a big game being ripped off. I think they would benefit from watching this, where there were opportunities missed, where there were slight holes that if they could close those up next time, they could prevent big gains.
I agree with you. I completely agree with you on that. And I also, like you mentioned, I think, that it's something that they can look forward to. Again, the outcome might not be the way that they want, but, they play hard tonight. They've shown some good things. The young QB Dillon has shown promise.
Yep.
Defensively, look at it in the second half. They haven't given up the score yet in the quarter. So, like you mentioned, there's definitely things that they can take away from this game positively.
And there's another impactful penalty. Cooper Gray had a big run, 30-plus yards. That's going to be called back, and it'll be 1st and 20 from their own 40 instead of 1st and 10 from Twinsburg's 20. And the clock continues to run. We're now under 10 minutes to play. In the first quarter, at this point, it was already about 14-0 Wadsworth. This will be a run up the middle, same play for Gray, and he gets tripped up after about 12. They found something on the left side of the line.
Gray and all these other backs do a great job. Once there's a hole, they do a great job of exploding that hole. See a little hurry-up tempo here for the Grizzlies. Same action, same call, same result.
That time he had a couple lead blockers in the hole, and Gray just had to be patient. He's putting together a nice gain as well. First half, Cooper only had 2 carries for 23 yards and a touchdown. He's starting to pile up some yards.
And they're running right behind Big Jordan Jones, 6'3", another 220-plus lineman. He's doing a great job of leading the way here in this drive for the Grizzlies.
While we have a timeout, we want to talk a little bit about Twinsburg Schools Today. On the September edition of Twinsburg Schools Today, Superintendent Kathy Powers and Business Manager Matt Strickland give a detailed update on the Tiger Legacy Project bond issue, which will appear on the November 5th ballot.
That's a great opportunity just for the community. Brand new schools, obviously brand new facilities. Something definitely for our future, Tigers to look forward to.
Yep, pre-K to 6th grade school right there, and they'll talk about that bond issue. So it'll be Kathy Powers and Matt Strickland, and they'll give their pitch, on what it's going to be all about and provide some transparency as, what are we asking for people to vote yes on that levy.
Yes, for sure. And like I mentioned before, again, just a great opportunity for the community just to have something brand new, built in the city. Obviously, our students and our student athletes can have tremendous support with that.
Yeah, so do yourself a favor and check out Twinsburg Schools Today. You can go on the My Community Focus app and watch that, or check your guide as well. And this is going to be a throw all the way to the end zone, and getting turned around was the defense that drops right in the lap of Tommy Hone for the Wadsworth touchdown.
Looked like a play action there, dropped back and delivered a strike. Defense got to turn the hat around a little bit sooner to locate the ball, but again, another touchdown from a deep ball and another great play for the Grizzlies.
And it wasn't like the defense was beat there. It was almost the opposite, where they were overrun. Hone has the luxury of knowing where the ball is supposed to be, as Dinwiddie comes through again with another extra point, and he let the ball come to him. How about 5 touchdown passes?
Oh man, he's the real deal. He's the real deal, and you can see early in his career how confident he is. As you can see, he's 22 for 30. He has an NFL game. 333 yards, 5 touchdowns with a long of 53. Man, he's a stud.
Bright future. Bright present as well. Wadsworth band, they've always got a big band. I would say regionally famous, well known for that musical performance that they put on. And let's take another minute to recognize Twinsburg Athletic Boosters. Go to twinsburgtab.com. They do so much for the school is a local community. They run the concession stands. They've got all other kinds of kiosks and booths out today. Got kids running. It's like the 20-yard dash or the 30-yard dash. Got the Kona ice truck. And a lot of those people, maybe even all of them, are volunteers, which is impressive. They just care about the school, care about the kids. So go to twinsburgtab.com. We've got a momentary stop of play as the teams get set, and we are under 8 minutes to play now with a running clock. So here's Fantone. Quick pass out to Herndon, and he has got a pretty nice game behind a good block on the outside.
Raul's he's been a guy out there night in and night out. He did a great job of getting upfield, and again, like you mentioned, he's one of those Tigers that's continue to play. The game might be out of reach right now, but the way he's playing hard, the effort he's producing, you wouldn't see it from number 4 tonight.
Well, and I think his effort right there is going to be called back, as there was such a good block. I think that was Okuma on the outside. We saw a personal foul penalty. We don't know where that was from necessarily, but they're going to march him back 15 yards. So that'll wipe out Rob's gain. And Dylan's going to be now with his feet on the 5-yard line. 1st and 20. It's going to be a nice little out route to the sideline, complete to Blyle. He's got a couple catches tonight.
He does. He's doing a good job of continuing to play. You know, I like the fact that these receivers on these quick routes are continuing to come back to the football.
Yep.
You know, again, Wadsworth's expecting these quick routes, but the way they're coming back to the football, they're allowing us to secure these catches and producing some positive gains going forward.
2nd down, he's going to sprint out. He's got a man out there. It's Herndon across the 20. So they're working their way back into a 3rd and manageable. They'll have about 9 yards to go. We're inside 6 minutes to play in the game. Tigers will keep it moving. They only have to really go 8.
Let's maybe get a quick and go here.
Yeah. And they're going to go with it deep. Herndon had a chance at it. It just missed his right hand. As that was a pretty good look and throw there by Fantone. Coverage was there. We want to thank you for watching us tonight on Focus Sports. If you need us, we can come to you. Community Focus, the app, Apple Store, Android Store, Roku TV. Go to mycommunityfocus.app if you want to type it in the URL bar. A lot of ways you can engage with us and watch our content. Also saw Dennis Polipiak down with Focus Picks, and there's a fake punt for the Tigers. They had a man, he was open, it fooled the defense, but it was incomplete.
I love the call. I love the call.
Oh, they had it. It almost looked like Chad Lane, who was the intended target, wasn't expecting it, or the ball was thrown a little sooner than he was expecting, but Anello, who's the punter, put a pretty good arm into that one.
Great throw, like you mentioned. It just looked like the timing, or, you know, he just wasn't expecting that ball.
Yep. And he got a couple fingertips on it, but a great idea there. Something to keep defenses honest throughout the rest of the season, too. New quarterback in for Wadsworth, and that's going to be no gain running up the middle. They've got Kyle Schmelzer, the sophomore, in there.
The Grizzlies number 28, Damian Jackson Jr., the ball carrier.
Well, after freshman Bryson Hall's performance, anybody else who's the quarterback on the roster probably starting to work out at a new position.
Pick somewhere else to play. That's for sure.
Yeah. Hall's looking like he's got 3 more years to play. Unless he plans on transferring to IMG Academy. Schmelzer's going to take it himself, and he looks like a running back. Look at him weaving through traffic. Down inside the 10 to the 5.
Schmelzer on the quarterback keeper.
Anybody Wadsworth puts in can play football. Anybody. And they're so deep. That's the one thing that stands out to me tonight, how deep they are. Next guy up mentality. See a great here. I'm sorry, great run by Schmelzer. Schmelzer here. Makes a great move here. Gets close to 6 almost. Looks like the ball's on the 5-yard line, huh?
He'll hand it off this time, but there are Tigers in the backfield.
It's a pride stop, pride possession for me defensively for the Tigers. You know, you want to, if anything, keep the Grizzlies under 50 points.
Yep. Farrell and Baron Grant on the tackle, and we do want to mention FocusPicks.org. Started talking about Dennis Polipiak before the last play, but let's shout out real quick our impact player of the game for Twinsburg. It is Rob Herndon. You could tell the work he's put in, but look how sweaty he is.
Oh, yeah. He's, both sides of the football field. He's made catches. He's made tackles defensively. As you can see, the work he put out, he deserves the impact player of the game tonight.
So Rob over 80 yards receiving, got a long of 64, has the only touchdown for the Tigers He's played both ways tonight, at safety and at wide receiver. He's a guy that we've mentioned many times tonight, and on a night where there's not a lot of offensive highlights for Twinsburg, he was one of them. So congrats to Rob, our impact player of the game. Opportunity still for that Pride defensive play. And Schmelzer is going to get hit hard by 2 defenders on 3rd down, and he will go down as the clock ticks at 1:15 and counting. So what does Wadsworth do here? Do you go for it? Do you kick the field goal?
You know, I'll probably kick it, but if not, you know, I get the point. You're on the 5-yard line. You want to maybe get a chance to punch it in here, give the young guys another rep here offensively.
Looks like they're going to go, so we've got a little excitement here at the end of the game. Wadsworth's going to win this football game and improve to 4-0. They are on top of the Suburban League National Division right now, tied with Nordonia. Both schools, if Nordonia finishes Solon off as they were up 24-7, they'll both be 4-0. They meet in a few weeks. And Schmelzer on 4th down takes it himself into the end zone, touchdown. And the clock will just continue to run. He is going to put this thing up to 55-10. They'll kick likely the extra point if they have time to get it off. They may not have time. We're just going to keep running the clock here. It's down to 2, down to 1, and that is it on the field. Let's see if the referees give it to them. I think they're going to... Initially, it looked like they were going to let him kick it. Now I think they're going to just wrap it up. No sense of running another play, risking somebody getting hurt. That's going to do it here on Focus Sports. Week 4 final 55-10 Wadsworth. Twinsburg was a little short-handed, but Wadsworth came out, handled their business, and they showed Dominique why they're one of the best teams in the area.
Look, top 10 in the state, Division II, top 30 in the state of Ohio in whole. And, you know, it showed both sides of the football. They have dominant football players, and their depth changed a lot tonight, as we saw.
They've got depth, speed, size, and a freshman quarterback who might be the next big thing. So Twinsburg's back to the drawing board next week. They're going to Hudson to take on the Explorers. For my partner Dominique Sanders tonight, Greg Bizjak, our director, our entire Focus Sports crew, this is Pete Hansberger signing off, saying so long. Thanks for watching from Twinsburg.